This past weekend, the Thieves played two matches, and in the first one, they took on the Vancouver Surge. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We wanted to recap that real quick, maybe show off some of the highlights of the series. It was a pretty quick one, though, so there's really not too much to talk about. Despite the fact that this was a rematch of the grand finals of the Minor 2 tournament, this was completely different from how the Minor 2 tournament went. The Thieves ended up winning this one in 3-0 fashion, despite having that game 7 in the Minor 2 finals against Vancouver Surge. To start off the series, the Thieves took on the Surge in Vault Hardpoint, which, as we saw from the last time these two faced off against one another, it did not go in the favor of Thieves. They had a good opportunity to close it out, but they just weren't quite able to do so. This time around, though, things were different, and the Thieves ended up winning this one 250 to 170. They just looked really comfortable on it. I think the flow that they had was much better than what we saw at the minor tournament. And this go around, Scrap finished with 41 and 29, and Hydra finished with 39 and 20, both of them combining for 80 kills in total. On the side of the Surge, though, everybody was negative besides Neptune. Neptune was the only one to go positive with a +5. He finished 33 and 28. And then you had Nasty with a .93, Abuza a .63, and O4 with a .70. That brings us to the map 2, which was Skyline S&D. Once again, another map that we saw the Thieves play a couple times. And the last time the Thieves played it, they definitely looked better than what we saw when they took on FaZe. So I was interested to see how a Skyline Game 2 would look compared to a Skyline Game 7, which we've seen twice now. So this time around, the Thieves looked pretty solid, I would say, for the most part. They kind of let Surge get back into it towards the end. They started off 5-2, and then they let Surge rattle off 3-round wins in a row before the Thieves ended up closing it out in the round 11, winning this one 6-5. So it would have been nice to see them maybe close it out a little sooner, knowing that they were up more than we maybe would have anticipated. But they still ended up closing it out, putting us up 2-0 in the series count. And this time, Dan had a little bit of a better map here with a 2.4 KD, 12 and 5 to finish that one out. He was the highest kill total for the Thieves. And then right behind him, you had Scrap with an 8 and 9 finish, Hydra 6 and 10, and then Envoy 5 and 9. On the side of Surge, they actually had more people who went positive, despite the fact that the Thieves were able to close it out. You had O4 going 8 and 6, Abuza 9 and 8, and then Neptune was 9 and 9. Nasty, the only one with a 7 and 8 finish. So interesting enough that they had three people in the positive, but still weren't quite able to close this one out. I think the Thieves have looked much better on Skyline S&D. It's something I feel a lot more confident in going into future matches, especially now that we've seen them play it multiple times. This was one that the Surge had won kind of the opening duels battle, which I think is probably what helped bring them back towards the end. The Thieves, when you have Hydra getting a lot of opening wins or even Envoy getting opening picks, it often just gets the ball rolling for the Thieves, and it makes it much harder for other teams to bounce back in the searches. That leads us to the third and final map, which is Vault Control. The Thieves ended up closing out the series here with a 3-2 win over the Surge. And despite the score line, I don't feel like this was as close as maybe you would think. I think the Thieves looked pretty comfortable, and it was a little back and forth, but not to the point where I was like concerned that the Thieves wouldn't be able to close it out. They, I believe, got more ticks, so it was pretty comfortable that they were going to get the defense. And this map is definitely more defense heavy. So the fact that the Thieves were able to do pretty well on offense and still get to the point where they were guaranteed defense in the end, I think that just shows how good this Thieves team is at control. And on this map specifically, everybody on the Thieves was positive. Their control just looks insane right now. They haven't lost this split, and like I said, they just look electric. They know exactly what they want to do, and it seems like it doesn't really matter the map. As long as it's control, these guys are locked in. Um, so the Thieves were able to close this one out. Like I said, it felt more handedly than maybe what it showed. On the side of Surge, you had O4 who was -11, Nasty was -12, both of them pretty much struggled on this map. And then Abuzo was 30 and 27, and Neptune was 33 and 28. And then, as I said, for the Thieves, everybody was in the positive, but Scrap finished at 33 and 24. He was the one kind of leading the way for them. And then Hydra 27 and 26, not far behind him as well. We've seen Scrap and Hydra are kind of becoming that dynamic duo, which is great to see, knowing that Hydra had such a slow start to the season. So now that these guys are kind of finding their rhythm a little bit, Hydra's finding a lot more of his timings now. It seems like he's back to his normal self, at least more so than he was. So I'm definitely excited to see, how that duo continues to grow. And I would love to see Dan and Envoy kind of keep more of a consistency. I think Envoy has looked really good throughout the year so far, but the last couple matches we've seen from him, he's kind of had some up and down moments here and there. And I think Dan is kind of the same way. So if we can get to where they're pretty damn consistent, which this is kind of nitpicking, they've been pretty consistent as it is. If we can get to where they're a little more consistent, this team is going to be damn near impossible to beat, in my opinion. You just have Scrap and Hydra who are popping off basically every single map at this point. And so the other two guys, if they just continue to fill their roles and they continue to play at a high level, this team is looking unstoppable, really. That's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.